Bonsoir tout le monde.
Good evening, everyone.
Bienvenue à notre
Welcome to our
6
regular
octobre.
meeting of October 6th.
Comment? Avant de commencer,
So before we start, I always do the same thing, just to remind us that we are gathering at the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq whose ancestors signed a treaty of peace and friendship with the British Crown in the 1700s. Mr. Clerk, we do have quorum. There are two members that were absent this evening. Next item, any council members would like to declare a conflict of interest on any item on the agenda? Seeing none. You have in front of you the agenda. We need a motion to adopt the agenda. Moved by Councillor Peter Burrows, seconded by Deputy Mayor Nicolette Boudreau. Questions on the motion? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. We also have the minutes of the meeting held on September 15th. If you had the chance to review or read it, I would need a motion to adopt the minutes. Moved by Councillor Joël Després.
Seconded by Councillor John Steeves. Question.
Questions on the motion?
Anything?
Omissions, errors. If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Against nay.
Adopté. Merci.
Carried. Thank you. We have nothing for public presentation and no correspondence, but we have standing committee and special committee reports. And see, like we have at the back of the room our sergeant Pierre-Luc Haché. So if you have anything you would like to say like that, this is the time to do so. Every 3 months, like we get the report for the Southeast region, like the numbers, the statistics more than ever. I don't know if the sergeant would have any items you would like to talk, or maybe some numbers you would like to allude to. So the room is used. Some numbers, well, yes. If you remember a press release that we did like in the region, in general, like the number of crimes against like theft or goods, and the average, but not the average, but the number for September was 40. Like we're talking about theft within the month of September. So the members did some checks, like 3 verifications. So they saw something that wasn't reported. So they wanted to check like who was going around. Break and entrance, 11 for the month of September. It increased in July and a little bit in June, like 13, 17 respectively, but it went back down to 9. It's the average. Members continue to do some curfew checks or verification for curfew. We did more like during summer, but over the summer, we have more files, so more paperwork, so a little bit less availability, like to do those checkup, because it requires like to travel a certain distance, like to check different people, not always the same one. And sometimes also it includes the territory, the Southeast territories for the Shediac region, and it can extend like to the limits of the Sackville territory. For visibility, like as for the files, well, like driving under the influence or the suspension at the road curb, like it's something new, like started in 2025. Instead of proceeding with a formal accusation, like under the law, we have like a new, well, not really a new system, but the suspension right on the side of the road. It was in place in other provinces way before us, like for many years. So for the last 2 months, it's 12 months. It's something that still happened. Another like a topic for safety belts in September, 7 got some tickets for this. I'm aware there's probably more than that, but it still happened. Well, for speeding tickets, September 76. As for tickets and warnings, 95. They did like a 3 road block. We did a little bit more before the summer, but we should start back like over the next few months. This morning, they did like an operation on a Route 15 between 7 and 8 o'clock, and they gave 20 tickets for speeding, and it was at higher speeds. I would say like over 135 kilometers. So from there, so we are aware of the situation. I know we did get some complaints directly, and I think it was also posted on Facebook. So it's something we did this morning. And around noon time, like close to the Shediac Cape School, noontime, they issued 7 speeding tickets. It's not 136 kilometers. Councillor Steve was mentioning this before the meeting. We thought we were present like lately, so we appreciate greatly. So it depends on the volume of call we receive, but we're trying. If a 911 call comes in when we have to, we do not do any road checks, but for the 911 we had the 16, and the average is between 10 to 15. False alarm, usually it was 16, 15, but lately it's 21, 22 for the month of September. And calls for vehicles or suspect individuals or vehicle, September was 32. I would say like the average. It's a little bit higher for July and August, like 37 or 41. And for September, 620 files that we worked on. August, it was 617, and in July, 830 files. While you worked, you didn't stop, right? So in a nutshell, well, it was just a summary of some types of call for the current year, like starting April 1st until March 31st, 3,930 calls. And the press release we did like for August 27, it was for the man, like the 50-year-old man like wanted to be seen as a policer. So we had like charges were laid against him. It's still in front of the courts. And I saw like a couple of reports like in the media for that situation. I think probably it will follow its course, but our members are certainly busy. Several of our members, a good number of members, they're still in the phase. They're still learning, like it's a 6 months learning curve. But by beginning of December, the majority would have completed this period, and it should stabilize the resources. But some will still leave, but we are better than what we were at the beginning of the summer. Generally, like, I don't know if there was any question. There were a question also like for electric e-bikes and also electric wheelchairs and also electric scooter. Well, province of New Brunswick, it's like a gray area. Like they're still working on this, but some provinces like in British Columbia, they have more regulation, and it's even accessible online to see the regulations. But for now, like for the region, to say like they have to drive on their shoulder or the side. Well, for a wheelchair, like it would be like on a wheelchair. But it's not, the regulations are not like been established for the province of New Brunswick, like to wear a helmet for protection, or it's like a bicycle, like because you drive on the shoulder, and you have also to follow like some of those e-bikes can go quite. They can go faster, even faster than the cars. If they driving on the sidewalk, can cause a problem. But for now, it would be like a measure to remind them, like if you're using this type of transportation, be careful where you go. Because if we look at on Ohio Road, there's a driver. If he stops he's getting out of Kent, he's looking right and left, and he has to look for cars, for pedestrian, and also bicycles. It could cause accident. It's not what a driver used to say. I could say someone was walking, but unless someone was sprinting, you would see it quite far. But if it's a bicycle 1500 watts, it could go maybe up to 70 kilometers an hour on the biking trail. It could become dangerous in some instances. So that's what I had to share for today. Or if there are any changes or numbers, I can go through with Sylvain. I could send a copy, at least to share for people. So we understood the numbers, but we'll probably won't remember in 2 weeks from now. Councillor Germaine Galland, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm not sure if it should be. I should address a question to you. The light they put, the pedestrian crosswalk. Some people are pushing the lights and then they just walk. They don't give the chance to the cars. It's kind of dangerous. So people have to be educated with this. But the cars, when they stop at the light, and if the person continues to walk, they just start before even it turns light. Because I have a lady, I press the light because they can walk. So they went for it, but the car did not stop, did not wait for the green light. So did not experience it. It's 4 individuals were mentioning this to me. So this one is a street light, like a red or yellow street light. I'm not even aware. At least red and green, because as soon as the person crosses the street, they think they have to cross, but you have to stop. As soon as they turn green, well, you have to proceed. I would like for you to catch one at least. It's part of the plan, because the first time the light was there, I wasn't even there. I went through. It must have been green and then when it came back, so there's a light there. Yeah, I might be arrested. So I would be volunteer just to show an example. I think around 4 o'clock the members wanted to do another operation, as they did on Route 15, yesterday at Cape School, maybe to go there, because it was an influx of calling couldn't go. So encourage you to just go there, just to take a look. But something I know we discussed, the public safety committee, maybe just a little bit. There's more education that will be done to see how this traffic lights work in general, because there are some in many other areas, and I think it's because it's new. I was in Florida, that's what they have. We really liked it because people stop and they remain and they stay, they stop. It seems to be working well. Thank you.
Sergeant Haché parlait qu'il y avait de l'information.
And Sergeant Haché was saying the information on scooters in British Columbia, so I'll be able to send you the link if you want to read them and get some information. Councillor Roland-Cormier, thank you, Mr. Mayor. At the last council meeting, I thank you publicly. And since you're here, I would like to thank you and your team for the incident, what happened in Pointe du Chêne in August. Thank you for doing what you did, because this could have become an incident that could have been marked our communities for maybe many years. Fortunately, nothing happened. I know sometimes the citizens are hard on the police officer. They say they're never there. But I think some understand like that your work is complex, and I raise my hat like to you and your team like for the great work you did, because that could have become a very unfortunate situation. Because you certainly save lives. Thank you very much, and have a great evening. Next item, we had the report for the fire statistics for November, so numbers for the month of September. Our fire chief is not there. If ever you have questions, so I think I noted like a slight variation in numbers, maybe more of an anomaly than anything else. So that's something we'll do. Mr. CEO, your report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think my report is quite long today, so not. If you allow me to share some information, I wanted to share you. And of course, we are in the budget season, so the administration is working really hard to prepare their recommendation for the council. It's something we will do soon, so we're still waiting for evaluate property tax assessments for the province. I don't know, is it the minister or the premier who shared this week? Like we were in at the New Brunswick Union of Municipalities, so he shared within days, like we should be receiving like those assessments. So I would say possibly like this week. So it will give us an idea like what type of evaluation we're working with for next year. However, like we have some concerns on the assessment freeze that was announced by the provincial government last spring, and of course over the last year we saw like an interesting growth like for the territory with the increase in tax assessment with new constructions and the reassessments of properties on the territory. Unfortunately, we can only benefit from new construction or if houses are sold. So there's considerable amount that still exists like in the spike protection mechanism. We have 282 million that are part of this program, and we do not benefit from we cannot impose like taxes on this amount. So we are thinking like the growth will be lower, way lower than the previous years. But I'd share at the last meeting, of course, that we got like an amount, we got like preliminary amounts that what we would have as transfer payments. So the amount sharing preliminary, it could be like 70,000. It's a bit encouraging because over the last couple of years we would see like a reduction in this amount, and this amount is very comparable what it was in the previous year. We were under the impression that eventually this amount would see less of it, would be reduced more and more, but for many years the municipality did not benefit or do not benefit from equalization grants that receive only like those transfer payments. So our budgets are less susceptible to corrections. So we're not very dependent on those amounts, but still like we'll get that 70,000 amount. So with the tax reform, the a new program that is like the grants, like Infrastructure Renewal Fund. It's a brand new fund, and it's solely dedicated to help the municipalities to eliminate the gap that exists, like the investment in infrastructures. All the municipalities are benefiting from a core amount like of 50,000, and according to an existing formula with our financial statements, so the value of our asset, there is a form that's which annual amount we will receive an additional amount of about 510,000, which means during like the budget process this year, we would have 560,000 to use toward. It's like a project, a renewal project for existing infrastructure. For instance, like Main Street that was done a few years ago, we could use this amount for to renew like an existing infrastructure, but we could not use this money to establish like a new park or build a new infrastructure. So it's really for existing infrastructure. It's an interesting amount and it will help. And there are guidelines or criteria that and the province will share with us soon. For instance, we could save it for a bigger project, but they're saying like there is a 4-year maximum period, like where we can save this amount without having like a ministerial exemption. If you wanted to use it for on a different project. So this is good news. It's positive. It's not an amount like that will help to renew all our projects, to renew all our infrastructures project. So the last meeting, you probably remember that we adopted like the new bylaw for the municipal council composition. We sent what we needed to do to the province. We're still waiting for the final approval, so we can send the documentation to elections and so it becomes effective before the next election. So we do not anticipate like a major delay. So we should get an answer soon and we should be able to meet the requirement. But what bringing us to see once it would be adopted, we would start to work on 2 other bylaws before the next elections, the procedural bylaw and also like the code of ethics bylaw. So those 2 bylaws, we started like with the smallest part internally, but we'll bring you something probably like after the budget process, so you're not overwhelmed during the budget project, and we will present you some drafts, and then you will have time to adopt them before the next election. And as for municipal operation, unfortunately, like you got the news that we had to delay like the opening of the fire station, but there's still the final inspection to do. Unfortunately, the inspection could not be done like at the date it was supposed to be done. So the inspection does not allow to take over this building, because usually this inspection, there's a list of deficiencies or different substantial completion that is determined. Then we can take over the building, but the contractors continue to work on those small like things. So we were not able to do this inspection on time. So to do the official opening. So we're looking maybe at another month, maybe beginning of November, like we would like to have an official opening, but we will keep you updated. As for the Calder Street, well, it's completed, so there's a minor touch. So tomorrow is the substantial completion final inspections. There might be a small list of deficiency identified, but the bulk of the work it's almost done. So I'm hoping like they can confirm. As for the culverts on trails, there were some minor dealers because of the material that was not quite available, was not available on time. So I have good news, like the trail is now open as of last week. There is a small section that might change, like comparatively to before, but see, it's still good, and the trail is quite nice, and the users, so they enjoy like the small modifications that were done. So Beaubridge Street, well, it's working, it's progressing quite well. So we're still like in line like to see the for 2026. As for like the 5-year plans and the assets management plan, well, soon we'll be able to present something. The finance director, she did a great work, like trying to assess our financial capacity for the 5-year plan with the help of the assets management plan. We will present like over the budget discussions. So just be ready, like to where your critics at when we present this, and we will show like the capacity of the municipality. And the last point, like for in terms of municipal operation, we'll paint like the pedestrian commemorative pedestrian walk for Remembrance Day. So this pedestrian crossing will done on Victoria Street between like the Dollarama and the monument. So it took a little bit more time than expected because we're several municipalities sharing the same stencil. And the municipality that owns it, like gave it to the municipality and gave it to, and then it's our turn. So this week, like the work should start for the crosswalk. So on this matter, we will be working like possibly to develop a policy like for painting crosswalks, because many groups could be asking like for crosswalks, and we just want to ensure like we're able to maintain some kind of standards, and for which reasons. So when we do like commemorative like crosswalk, and the last item for municipal operations, it's a communication. So the three like a major road sign, if you went on the highway, you notice like the refresh of the news. So we see now we are working on the site for the neighborhood signs. So you probably saw a draft of those signs that will be installed in the various part of the town. Like, well, we'll be able to conclude this. Last week, there was a consultation session with stakeholders for the study for Plan 360. We had two sessions, one specifically for developers and one with the consultant. And we also had the internal consultation, and we also included the regional town of Kapakadi in the process, because they showed a possible interest. Let's say like we had, we would have our own planning service. It might be ready like to become a partner. So they are included in this process. We should receive the report soon, and that report will be presented to the council. And the consultant seemed surprised of the comments he heard from the developers. He did not expect this at all. I will not share like the details, but and I was surprised also by the comments, but we will present them like once a report reports are completed. As for the animal controls, you might be aware we got many complaints. And for the trails, like Apasawa Trail, like in some regions, so they had specific complaints about dogs. We have many files that are open. We have investigations. We cannot share like all the specific details, but we have several fines, and we are working actively on them. And we also have some actions we put in place according to the bylaw, and we will process those files with the importance they deserve. As for human resources, well, I have the pleasure to announce all the positions are filled. All the employees are working. So this evening, I would like for Frederick to be here. He's the new director for operations and engineering. Unfortunately, he had a previous commitment, but he will be there next week. So you had the opportunity to meet with him. But we also hired for the net zero process for the amount we receive for the federal.
We hired someone named Tom Kaniak, engineer by training as well, a mechanical engineer. He will bring in some good work experience, and he'll be able to lead the various initiatives that we will be undertaking in terms of the net zero file. So I'm just going to briefly talk to you about the Pascal Poirier House. As part of the strategic planning, we mentioned that we would create an internal working group to study the question. I can say that we have started to have discussions internally. We are going to see, we're going to have targeted consultation with certain groups to see to the committee's mandate. That is to consider a future mission for Pascal Poirier House, where there'll be an external firm that will help us to oversee all of these consultations to make sure that they're properly organized, well planned out, in an impartial way as well. You want to make sure that we can hear things in an not impartial way, and we intend to have a report before council before the end of the year. The file is to that point. And thus concludes my report. Sorry that it was long. A lot of topics, indeed. Sometimes it's long. Any questions related to the items that the CAO presented? Councillor Joël Després. Thank you for that huge report. Did I understand that there is $282 million for spike protection tax that you're not receiving? It's $1 million or so. We calculated at 2.4 million. I miscalculated, so it's 2.4 million. It depends on the region. We know what region we find ourselves in. There are different taxation authorities. So as you apply the sum to the proper taxation authority, you can determine the amount. That means that arbitrarily, our true tax envelope should be about 2.2 billion and not 1.9 billion like it was before. Thanks for confirming. Councillor Paul Boudreau. A few items. Thank you, Yves, for your report. In terms of the ethics code, you spoke about it. I have no problem with that bylaw. Please, when you revise that policy and that bylaw for the anonymity, we had a presentation a few months ago. Said it was very nefarious that for the ethics codes where people can report things anonymously. So when you redo that policy, please look at anonymity. Yes, if you allow. The current bylaw is not in line with the new regulations that have come out. We must make sure that the new provincial regulation and the new bylaw are coherent with the new provincial regulation. I do find it odd that the province did not publish the new regulations during the reform process, because they asked municipalities to adopt a bylaw, and it's basically, and then there's that bylaw that we have, but still we do have to make some adjustments, and these are things that we can look at. In terms of the five-year plan, you said that you studied in terms of how the city can have the means to pay for certain projects. I looked at the intergenerational center, for example. In the five-year plan that we presented a preliminary version. We had some forecasts as to those projects. It's certainly well, how might I say this? The amounts that are in the five-year plan assume that we're not receiving any grants, none at all. So we're painting a worst-case scenario here. According to the discussions that we've undertaken with various firms, it's a project for a certain amount, and that's the sum we're using over an expanded period. So the project will not just take 12 months to build. It will take several years, several tax years. When we add all of the various projects according to the five-year plan, this leaves us with the total amount in the bottom. With that sum, we can make forecasts. Will we use reserve funds? Will it be loans? Will we receive grants? And when we put all that together, it tells us more or less what our debt rate will be if we borrow or if we receive no grants. Is it wise to exercise? It's a huge exercise. We have so many projects that we have to do. Is it wise to do that without knowing if it's a $16 million project or $120 million? There's a huge gap. That's my worry. In our plan, not the plan, but in the capital investment plan over 5 years, we have put a number. Well, we put an estimate on what it is. It's not a small figure, as you say. If that's the figure, if we get 50% paid by someone else, then we'll just have to provide only 50% of that as an investment by municipality or community fundraising, a combination of that. But we have that number. It's not just made up. It's a reasonable figure, given the facility that would be there. It at least gives us an idea of what it might cost. Well, look, we can put everything in it. We're not going to build an arena with gold on the walls. I think that's obvious. But we'll be able to come to a certain determination. Okay, based on our fiscal capacity, our revenue and our expenses, what can we allow ourselves as part of a larger project? And that goes for all other projects. I didn't see the figures for that project. It was included in the first draft. Thank you. Two other quick items. Human resources. I asked to have an org chart. I finished it this morning. We have a meeting on Wednesday, a staff meeting on Wednesday. I'll present it to the staff. It is absolutely something that I can send you. From Pascal Poirier House, have I understood that another consultant would be hired? It's not a consultant that we'll be hiring. He's going to help us to do the public consultation. Is he free? No. Well, if he's not hired, if we're paying him, he's hired. We haven't paid him. He hasn't done any work yet. So it's a consultant who will work on that file. It's a consultant who will help us to work on that file. Okay. And is there a deadline? Our objective is to have a report in your hands by the end of this fiscal year. Who will the consultant consult? So the consultant, we'd like for him to consult stakeholders, be they community organizations, targeted persons. If you have a list of people in particular who you think should be consulted, and please advise us and we'll add them to the invitation. I'd like him to consult the council as well to discuss the file specifically with council as well as staff. It's important for us to have a fresh pair of eyes, if you'll allow that, to consult people, to get the pulse of people, and to provide some observations that we can include in the report. Thank you. It's good. That's all for me. Thank you, Councillor Boudreau. Next one, Councillor Ronald Cormier. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Mr. CAO, for your report. It's always interesting to listen to you and to learn a lot of news. I'd like some clarification on the signage for the regions. So you're looking into this. It's a good thing. Any timeline? It's my first question. Do you have a timeline? Pardon me. I didn't look. I looked at Sylvain, but for now, what we started is the working with the company that will help us to make them. Design's already established. I think you've all seen the design. But from here to the spring, it could be hard to pull off. I would imagine. In the summer, in the winter, it's harder to do. I really don't think it'll be done before winter. That's for sure. If I might clarify. You also need a highway usage. For that, most of the signage will be on provincial roads, not municipal roads. So we have to receive the approval of the Department of Transport and Infrastructure. There's a clearly established process with the department. We have to follow that process. We also can't start the process before we know where we're putting it, the mile marker XYZ, between such a civic address, and we might have to enter an agreement with owners if there are signs where there weren't the signs before. If there are specific areas where you'd like to see signs, please share them with us. If you have somebody who's willing to accept a sign near their property, we're all ears for those options, beyond the options that we're looking into already. Thank you. I think you'll be providing a recommendation to us. I hope that we won't set up any signage. It's not the presentation of what it looks like. Location. The council should see all that before they are set up and installed. I'd just like to remind you, Your Worship, we passed the motion 2 years ago back on signage. We go travel throughout all the regions, and there's a lot of them are there. If we want our communities to feel like they are together, we need to identify the communities outside of the old limits of Shediac that are now part of the new Shediac. It's very important in my mind. That's why I brought it before council 2 years ago, and that's why it got approved by council. If you're saying there's a delay, means that there'll be municipal elections and still no signage for those who will stay or not. I fear if the next council decides they don't want it, we won't have any signs. I think that we need to make this a priority, Your Worship. It's in the budget. And it's up to us to act, to get it done. I don't know what else I can do to try to push it. I've been talking about it for 2 years. Your Worship, I don't know. But I think it's important and it must be done. If we need some easements, well, let's do what we need to do. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Councillor Cormier. Mr. Clerk, I would like to say September 2024. So it's a 1 year and 1 month for now since the resolution became a bylaw and that we've been working on the file.
Okay. Merci pour la précision.
Thank you for specifying.
Conseiller Peterborough.
Councillor Peterborough, any questions on the CEO report? Yes, it's based on the Councillor Cormier's comments on signage. I don't want to belabor the point. They're good signs, but I want to talk about the signs that we haven't discussed. There are other signs in municipality that still have the old logos. Do you have a plan to change them? Will all new signage as of now bear the new face of the logo, the new logo? That's the intention. That means that we have to put little signs here and there. We won't be using signage with the old logo. It'll be the new logo. So you expect to replace existing signs, but didn't want to change everything at the same time. We want to do this progressively to limit costs. With the flood of vehicles, all new vehicles have received the new logos. With the fleet of vehicles, we're going to, those that need it, we'll do it progressively. We're working through these teams, all of the teams in the town's teams, and it's a progressive venture. Once we want to replace it with new logo instead of replacing everything at once. We are trying to limit costs. There are many offices, operation center, for example. There's no logo on front of the building. It'll be modified eventually, a bit like we did for the fire hall. Did you notice with the fire hall? The new logo is there with the fire department. The idea is that we'll do this progressively and change things progressively so that everything will have the new logo eventually. So we're no longer using the old logo. Not for new signage. You're speaking about the heraldry? The I Feel Shediac? Je me sens Shediac? I'm talking about the old logo that was used. As the CAO mentioned, the coat of arms. There's you see the old one, the coat of arms that we used to use. It will be replaced by the new one, but the slogan is gone. The slogan will no longer be used. There's still some paper that we're trying to get rid of and use all of, but eventually it would be eliminated altogether. Sorry for speaking over you, Mr. CAO. There's no problem there. Councillor Patricia Bourque-Chevary. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Mr. CAO, for your report. Just a few questions. So as to the fire hall, the outer part is complete. 2 or 3 people have asked me some questions regarding the post. Is that complete? When you're in Sackville, you looked to the right. We saw the plans with the fire hall committee. I don't remember it. Is that complete? I really don't know what you're referring to around this post. Close to the entry door? You're talking about the canopy? Is that all done? Yes, it's supposed to be complete. I don't want to say it's a gazebo, but so there's no sign going on it? No. I don't know. I don't think so, no. I rarely go through there. It'll be illuminated. That's where the new main entrance is. For foot passengers, for foot traffic. 2 or 3 posts with it looks like there are parts missing. It wasn't identified to me as still being underway, so it's completed. Maybe during the final inspection, you typically test all the controls. Sometimes they turn on the lights. Oh, that's a burnt out light. You have to change that one. So I wasn't told that there were any deficiencies there, but doesn't mean there aren't any. Everything is there. Everything seems to be there. So that's how it is. That's great. Thank you. The other question, this brings me to my third question. We spoke of the 5-year plan and the figures. Will we see this in our packets before the meeting so we can look at that and if we have any questions? Absolutely. Thank you. And the other question, it's a bit flowing out of Councillor Puz's comments for Pascal Poirier House. Is there anything in that plan? We haven't decided what we want to do with it. Right now, there's no amount in the plan. No amount of money in the plan, in the 5-year plan. It will be up to the council how to deal with that file. I understand that it will be a bit difficult, but the council can always see to it that reserve funds are used. You can apply for a loan for the capital fund. You could have there's sources of financing. Particularly during the budget process, it can have a modification on the 5-year plan. Given that no decision has been made, can I just come back to your second question? The objective of the first budget evening is to speak to you. That's next week. Is to talk to you about overall concepts, to share the big outline of the budget, any observations that we have made of late. And if we start to discuss the budget that night, it will be the water and sewer budget, the operations budget. We plan to have a discussion on that a bit later. Yes, we will share, but don't expect it next week. Don't expect that we'll share all documents next week. They're still being developed, and we're waiting on numbers from the province as well. That could have an impact if it shows up this week. But we'll have it before the meeting. Yes, absolutely. We have 3 or 4 meetings planned. Absolutely. Before the meeting. Yes, that's great. Thank you. Thank you very much. It'll give us it'll set the stage. We'd like to explain, to tell you where we are at in this current year. I think it's important to present where we're at during this fiscal year, where we're heading, the major concepts, and then we'll enter into a more detailed discussion later. That's fine. Is that okay, Madam Finance Director? Does it match up? If I said something wrong, you can correct me. You're correct. You're okay with that? That's good. Well, thank you very much. Well, good discussion, good exchange of information. Number 10, recommendation of the Regional Service Commission. We have an item. It is the Timberline Estate subdivision. Mr. Clerk, give us the background on this. Oh, I won this one. Well, it's a subdivision that was proposed. The owner of the new lot facing Riverside. Hold on. Sometimes we don't put it on the YouTube. And people complain about that, so I'll do it now while we talk about it. So, the current lot is rather facing Riverside. So if you look in that sector, it's a little yellow house. It was for sale for quite a while. It was sold. And the owner of the lot wants to subdivide the lot to be able to put in a second lot, 2502, that you see in the back. You know, when we present subdivisions, there's the question of LFPP, land for public purpose. And there's a habit of giving a monetary amount in lieu of setting the land aside. And in this case, this is what the developer has chosen to do. And the recommendation of Plan 360 goes along with this. That is to take the monetary payment in lieu of a land set aside. If you have any questions, we can try to answer. Well, we first need a motion. Councillor Joël Pré, would you like to read it? I will read it and have a question after. 10.1 Timberline Estate subdivision. Be it resolved that the Municipal Council accept the recommendation of Plan 360 staff to receive a monetary payment in the amount of $3,402.93 in lieu of land set aside in connection with the creation of Lot 25-02 of the Timberline Estate subdivision. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Joel Després, seconded by Councillor Jean-Claude Bertin. Your Worship, will this cause us a problem? We were advised that in the future the street will be moved. It won't hinder that? That was my question. The CAO indicates no. Thank you. That's the realignment is a bit further than that point. If I might confirm, Your Worship, the engineering team and the operations team, when we receive proposals from Plan 360, there's always a period where we have to say, yes, it works, no, no, it doesn't. Any red flags on that front, they looked over it, and everything looks okay. Great. Any other questions, Councillor Patricia Brooke-Cheverry? Thank you, Your Worship. Well, when I looked at that, 2501, 2502, it's two lots. So what happens to the part in between? It makes a third lot? No? I was just looking at the design. Well, I was thinking, what happens to that part? If you look at the lot, it looks like a triangle. It's missing the point in the south. It will basically create two lots. Any remaining zone will be the remnant for another lot. Are you talking about between the two lots, 2501? 2501, where the house is right now, it's already there. And after that, there's a twist towards 2502. So what happens to the rest of the land? It remains on 2501. It will be a remnant from one of the two lots. So there'll only be two lots. It'll go to one lot or the other. That's what I was wondering. It was the way it's divided. 2501, the lot is more square than the other. The other, it's long. It would make a funny lawn. 2502 is on a great length. 2502, it's the shape. It looks like a popsicle. I thought that was what it was. The line that goes down, everything is to the east. I thought that was a lot. And we saw in that form. 2501, in terms of land area, is much smaller than 2502. Although 2502, big, you'd have a lot of lawn to the side of you. That's inaudible. So I would assume that the reason that he made that diagram, the width of the yard has to lead to a public street, and the public street, well, the McNeil doesn't go any further than the two lines there. So what he put that put the limits of the lot for the width of the entry. It's on there. It's marked existing driveway. So the square there's 2502. It's the driveway to McNeil, but that's not the lot. It's the triangular point, the full triangular point. It's the way I was interpreting. That's fine. Thank you. It's a funny shaped lot. That's how it is. Councillor Paul Boudreau. No problem with that motion. Is it? I don't need the answer tonight, Yves or Finance Director. What balance do we have in that account? Next time, there'll be $3,400 more in it. Thank you. So, on that note, all those in favor shall say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Thank you. So number 11, unfinished business. Nothing under 12 for the night. It was a short meeting. Request for information by councillors. I asked councillors to provide their questions in writing. Councillor Boudreau did it. It's something that I would encourage you to do. Simply, it allows staff the opportunity to see the question and be able to do some last-minute research. Maybe there's something coming up, and that could present. They could present to the council when asked. Councillor Boudreau. I had 4 and 2 were answered. The ethics code. Thank you very much, Yves, and the Pascal Poirier House Committee as well. So Patricia was referring to it. What is planned for this autumn and winter to stop the house from getting in a worse condition than it is? Do you have a plan? I know that money might be rare and maybe opinions are divided on it. Thank you, Your Worship. Go ahead. As with any building, the team does periodic inspections, and we do the necessary work to make sure that our buildings remain safe. We will continue to do that with Pascal Poirier House. We'll continue to inspect periodically, and we'll do the work that's required to make sure that the building remains safe. If you're asking me if we change the roof, the answer is no. We haven't, staff has not been mandated to do renovations of that scope with the house. But after the report, we will take up the actions that the council decides to undertake for Pascal Poirier House.
Is the roof leaking? Well, right now the answer would be no. Is there any mildew, mold? I would say like a building over 100 years old, there should be one spot or two. There might be a little bit of mold. Condensation maybe, but that the building is just has lots of mold. Now inspection, the answer is no. Thank you, Yves. That just to make sure, like the house does not become worse than it is. If ever the committee comes to a decision. The second one, well, we were informed the trails going from Shediac to Greater Moncton. Did you hear anything? Julie, did you have any news? I would say like the Director of Community Life and Recreation. I have a new title, sorry. It's all the same. It's all the same.
Justement, j'ai parlé avec
well, I was speaking with Mark is in charge of this project with Service Commission and Gemtech, like they are doing the phases for design. So the design for this project. So there's all only at the design process, as what like we have like the posts like crossing the river. They will be used, but there will be some kind of coating, like a similar like to some plaster, but to use it, but just to strengthen them. It will be more efficient, more ecological, and more economical, and also quicker too. But overall, we think maybe in the spring, the Service Commission would be ready like to start the construction of the bill. And for their for the funding, well, they're always they want like to look in funder, but they reach their goal that they set, but they need to get more funding with the different revenue streams. So that's what they're working on, but they're continuing to make progress, and in the spring, they should be ready to start construction. If you want to know, like for concerning the trail between Shediac or Skoudouk and Dieppe, they're still in discussion with the 3 landowners because the trails would be going on their land. And one of them, we still need to make more progress, more communications. And for Capelé Shediac, well, the challenge is especially for EDI. That's where we have the biggest problem. The DTI, like the Department of Transportation. Thank you, Julie. So did our role change for budget 2026? So is there anything the 2026 budget to complete? Do we have money for an extension to help the commission to do some work on the project? Because half of the trail is in the town, like with the Scodoc and Dorchester crossing. So there's only what we did last year, like the 500 meters. So it's strong enough. So we only need like to finalize it. And what's in the project? It's like pay as we go. So this long trail, which it's a shoreline trail.
Il y a un mot français, ça m'échappe, là. Mais
there's a French word, but it's a project from the Regional Service Commission. All the municipalities in the Southeast region are paying into that project. So this will be part one. And eventually there will be other trails, like going like to the Moncton region, Three Rivers, Petit Kodiak, and also going towards Tantramar.
La ville de Shediac will contribute à travers ses propres.
And then the town of Shediac also will contribute to develop all like this trail network.
Le sentier de la ligne côtière, comme M. Greffier.
They call it like the coastal trail. But thank you for the completed trail. So because I used it a lot since it's been done at the other side of the town. So thank you. That was it. Councillor Lacombe, question. Thank you, Mr. May. So these things I've already mentioned. I just wanted to know where we're at. Like the taxi system, like for the greater Shediac region. So do we have any updates on this? Yes, we did some follow-up with taxi businesses. And of course, like the reception we got, but it's a capacity issue. So they choose to reduce their hours because they might not have like the number enough drivers, or and we're continuing to work with them. We're not against like looking maybe at other alternatives to answer this question, but I'm not saying like we're getting like a total resistance, but there are some concerns on providers so they can deliver that service. So we are working with them to find some solutions. Because when Mr. Doiron was here, he mentioned like there were three firms, so to think outside the box. So I will not be the one finding the solution. So I think if we think outside the box, rotative basis. I know you're working on this. Will you come with if there would be a solution? Absolutely, we'll be sharing with them, because a solution could probably modify the bylaw. We would have to check the legal point. So if we want to legiferate, but we could legislate, but there's no like taxis available at those hours. I agree with you, but when we legislate, we need to ensure someone is there if we give them a license, because if the service is not there and they get a license, we could have the opportunity to withdraw this license. But I think the approach from the CAO is the right one, is trying to collaborate and understand. I understand they have the challenges, but the citizens and the business owners, they have other like challenges, and I think you're doing well. Well, congratulations for the decision to have sidewalks for crossways for November 11. Pedestrian walkways. Yeah, I was saying sidewalk, but these are pedestrian walkways. I think it's great because our veterans from our region deserve it. So, bravo. So do we have, I mentioned at the last, the concern I had to Councilor Després, because he mentioned that before I get on the same one, so the exit coming from Cap-Acadie going to Scodoc there is a stop sign on the left going to Scodoc, and the right-hand side go back to Shediac. There's a deal. So he was saying like the department was not open. Like you got some documents from DTI, which is okay, but I would suggest that we meet with the minister and our MLA. Do you have anything to share with this one? Is there a meeting coming up, or is there a meeting we will have with those two elected officials, or? Because it would come from a government decision and not from the public servants. So I will ask this every 2 weeks, so I have nothing to share more. Mr. Mayor, no news so far. Do we intend like to try to go in that direction? Yes. I will ask in 2 weeks from now where we're at.
Councilor Patricia Bourque-Chevalier.
Councilor Patricia Bourque-Chevalier. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have one comment and a quick question. So 2 Saturdays ago, we attended a participation from the Service Commission in Moncton at the Avenir Center. It's just like for information. We discussed it. I don't know if it's something that the administration could look at and maybe in the future. The translation system, because at our in-camera meeting, like we do not have translation, that we might be able like to have translation. So we are not like up to the point to go forward with this, but we want to. It's a system, we're talking about Wordleach. So this is the system that the Service Commission implemented maybe a month and a half. We saw the system for the first time at a conference. Myself and the CEO of the commission attended like in the month of June, and he said he wanted to implement it or try it like at the commission. Said, well, I would like to know like what the result. And we see like they're even talking to, we might be able to, because something we mentioned last weekend at the UMNB conference. Even at the UMNB conference, they're still using like the simultaneous translation, but we're ready to look at anything to see if it works. But of course, for our meetings, we're still using like a translation, the service in person, and it's good. So I thought maybe in the future, it's just, we thought it was really great. A question, yes or no, did we ever heard about Route 15 to have access to the land we might get from the Department of Transportation? So we were supposed to get an answer from the minister, but we didn't hear back like from the minister. Thank you. I will tell you, like, I was at a meeting with the executive of the Service Commission, even if we're only like maybe we are 3 plus the CAO, plus there was a consultant. So that was the reason of the meeting. And the review mayor, who does understand like French a little bit, he's taking some classes. So he had it on his phone. Despite myself and Mayor Bourgeois could discuss in French, he could follow us. Just need to have your mic on. He think it's great. Yeah, it seems to be great from what we saw. It's a new technology. Thank you very much. 14, presentation and reading of bylaws. So we have a bylaw like for downtown, B2610. So we need someone to move.
There we go. Le budget pour la centre-ville.
It's a budget for Centre-Ville Shediac downtown. Essentially, I would need Mr. Clerk, if you could give you the preamble. I'm ready to read, no problem. Any questions? So the budget was presented maybe what, beginning of September?
Le 15 septembre.
On September 15.
Donc, à tous les ans, bien sûr, il faut.
So each year they have to go back with the first reading once it's advertised in the paper. So the ads were published and in the Moniteur Acadien and also in the Times and Transcript. And also the edition like Moncton Miramichi edition. And now we're going back with the first and second reading for this budget for Centre-Ville Shediac Downtown Inc. Deputy Mayor, if you'd like to read it. So the bylaw number B2610, first reading, that a bylaw entitled bylaw number B-26-10, a bylaw regarding the budget of Centre-Ville Shediac Downtown Inc. be authorized and that this bylaw be given first reading by its title. Moved by Mayor Sylvie Colette Boudreau, seconded by Councillor Germaine Galland. Questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Against, nay. Motion carried. Mr. The bylaw B2610, a bylaw like Centre-Ville Shediac Downtown Inc. Be it resolved that the first reading of bylaw number B26-10 by its title is accepted. Moved by Deputy Mayor Sylvie Colette Boudreau, seconded by Councillor Germaine Galland. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Against, nay. Motion carried. Second reading. It's a bylaw B2610. Second reading, that the bylaw B-26-10 be read a second time by title and its entirety. Moved by Deputy Mayor Sylvie Colette Boudreau, seconded by Councillor Joël Després. It was quicker than you, Councillor Germaine. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Against, nay. Carried. Mr. Clerk. Bylaw B-26-10, a bylaw regarding the budget of Centre-Ville Shediac Downtown Inc. Where the Council of the Town of Shediac has enacted the bylaw establishing a business improvement area pursuant to the Business Improvement Areas Act of the Acts of New Brunswick. And whereas the said act authorized council to impose a levy on non-residential properties within the business improvement area. Therefore, the Council of the Town of Shediac duly makes as follows. Pursuant to paragraph 5.2a of the real property tax act, a levy of 20 cents to each $100 of assessment value for the year beginning year and ending December 4th, thereby imposed on all non-residential property situated within the business improvement area described in bylaw B-1011 enacted November 29, 20. For this bylaw comes into force for the enacted 20. The bylaw comes into force the day of its adoption. Be it resolved that to accept the second reading of the bylaw B-26-10 by its title and its entirety. Moved by Deputy Mayor Sylvie Colette Boudreau, seconded by Councillor Joël Després. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Against, nay. Motion carried. Thank you. We have no motion or resolution and no appointments to committees. So the next meeting will be on October 20th, 2025. So I wish you a great evening. Thank you. The adjournment is moved by Councillor Germaine Galland. Thank you very much.